Welcome to Python with Andrew, where we dive in and touch on some simple and basic Python topics as we build our knowledge and grow towards building more and more complex programs, which we'll get to. So in today's session, I want to talk about one of the most basic data types, but also one of the most powerful. And I've split it up into a number of different videos because the string is a very simple data structure, but there's also a lot going on. So I want to do a few short, sharp videos on how we can handle strings. So let's jump over to our Visual Studio Code, where we're going to look at strings. And a string, and we've already used strings a lot. In fact, my comments above are a string in nature. So a string is as simple as saying, hello, whoops, too many L. Save that and run it. I just get the word hello. So that string, the word hello is a string. Generally, we would say they're words or sentences, but the more general term is a string. And a string normally has either double quotes or just single quotes. They're exactly the same. People ask me which is better. Personally, I always use double quotes. I think just because that's the way I learned. There is no difference. People might argue one versus the other. I think what's more important is if you choose to use double quotes, you consistently use double quotes in your program. Or if you choose to mix them for some reason, then you're consistent in doing that. So an example of that is when I do a multi-line string for comments, like the one above, I use single quotes. So it's 3 single quotes. But when I use quotes for words or sentences as a variable, as a string, I use double quotes. So I don't use this one here, I use the one above. Again, personal choice. I recommend you get comfortable with using one versus the other. Now, a string on its own is pretty useless. We need to do things with strings. And over the next series of videos, we're going to look at the different ways we can do things. Because sometimes strings use operators like numbers do, plus and times and things like that. Sometimes we can use functions on strings, and sometimes we can use methods. So strings behave differently in different contexts, or you can use them differently. They don't behave any differently. You can use them differently. So, for example, I can add strings together plus you, and if I put a space in there, that just means I'm adding the string together. So it works similar to adding numbers, the plus sign, where we can go hello plus you, and that makes a bigger string, hello you. And I can use the times, if I do times 4, right, some of you might already think, oh, okay, I think I know how that will act, right? And as you'd expect, it does 4 times. Let me put a space in there so it makes it a bit obvious, and let me put the capital to fix it up a bit, make it a bit cleaner. And you can see hello, hello, hello. All right, so there are 2 ones that we use. We probably use the plus a lot more as an operator. Another operator that we use a lot is the in operator. So the print is the word hello in hello. Right. So is a character or a substring in the bigger string. We use the in operator, and it would come back with true. And this is very, very useful in a if statement. For example, if I said if the if Andrew was in this bigger string. Andrew with Python, I'll just use lowercase, just make it. If Andrew's, then print hello. All right. So that's often where we use it, where we might use it's a string within a substring, right? And we're going to get the hello. So because it's true, and often that second one might not be the text. There might be a variable. So we might have a whole sentence, and we say, "Is this word in this sentence? If so," and when we do some practice examples, we'll do a really easy one where we might want to replace words in a sentence for some particular reason. Maybe they're swear words or were inappropriate words in our sentence, and we might want to change it for that. We can also have some functions with strings. The length of the word hello. And you'd expect that to return 5. That's the length of the word hello. And we can also convert numbers into strings with the string function. And we've already done the reverse. We've already said, what does print the integer of 33 equal? We've already done that. And let me clear that, sorry. And we see it's 33. We can do the opposite. Right? And we could do what's print the string of the number 34. Let's do the 34. Now it's going to look the same because it's a string, but this string function is really useful because one of the simplest mistakes we make when we're doing a printout, we might do something like print Fred is, and what we want to do is say Fred is 33 plus years old, right? Something like that. Now, that's one way we could do it. We've got one string there. Now, when I run that, you'll see that this, so let me clear it. When I run that, I'll get an error because 33 is an integer and I cannot add an integer with a string. Right? So to fix that up, I just put it around the string. I put the use the string function. Right? So and then it works okay. Okay, so I just want to introduce strings. We'll go further with that in a later video. And as you can see, it's a simple word or sentence. We can add, we can multiply strings. We can use the in operator. We can also use some functions like length or integer or string. And you'll see as we grow that there are a lot more options to work on there. But that's all for this video. Again, thanks for watching. If you're enjoying what you're watching, please subscribe and also share it with your friends if they can gain from this. Thanks and have a great day.